Ahoy, mateys! Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. Before I get into it, I am going to be talking about my experience going to the Dominican Republic, specifically Puerto Plata. But before I do, a little housekeeping I'd like to cover before I get into it. First off, if you would like to go on vacation, specifically a cruise, which is my specialty, and you'd like to reach out to me to help you out with it, you can reach out to me in a couple different ways, one of which is through email. My email address is j.paradise.travels@gmail.com. That's jay.paradise.travels@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to me through social media, such as Facebook or Instagram. Jay's Paradise Travels is the name of both of those accounts that I have. Jays, no apostrophe in there. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me one of those ways, and I'd be more than happy to help get you set up for a vacation. All right, so let's get into it. My experience with Dominican Republic, specifically Puerto Plata. Now I say that because going into this cruise that we went on Virgin, this was the first four stops that we went on. Talking about the Virgin cruise itself, as well as the other three stops are on different podcasts. But this one was the Dominican Republic. And I remember when I booked this cruise, I had looked at the itinerary and was very excited about it because there was a lot of new things that I was going to get to experience. Virgin Voyages itself, and some of the stops are stops that I hadn't been to before. And Dominican Republic was at one on the list, Puerto Plata. I was like, I don't think I've ever been to Puerto Plata. So I was excited about possibly going there for the very first time. But Dominican Republic did sound a little familiar. And I kept saying if I had been there, I didn't remember it, so it would be like going for the first time and trying something new. My dad said that we had been there before. And it wasn't until I got home that I kind of looked it up and saw that he was right. Years ago, we had went on a cruise on Celebrity, um, Blue Note of the Sea. It was like a jazz themed cruise. And one of the stops that we went to was the Dominican Republic, but it wasn't Puerto Plata that we went to. It was Samana. We had went to Samana, Dominican Republic. And sure enough, I was looking, I was like, okay, there were some pictures that I saw, some beautiful scenery pictures of the island, different houses, different things that we went to. And we did do a tour there. We took like a little bus tour, went around the island, went around the city. Remember seeing just people doing their everyday business and their lives, whether they're selling fruits in the market, things like that, or going around the island. But it was when I was looking at the pictures, I saw, okay, we did go there, and it was a beautiful island to visit. And that was cool. So I have been there before. To remember every single detail to talk about on the podcast, I probably don't have all those memories, all those details. So I'm including it in with this one. That now I have been to the Dominican Republic twice, one to Samana, and the other one was to Puerto Plata. I don't recall the details of the Samana one, aside from the fact that we went there. We did see some cool things. We did take a tour. Those pictures did jog those memories, but all the little other details I don't remember. So I won't go a separate podcast about Samana. I'm just going to incorporate it along with this one that I've been, and a few little highlights. But this one here is more fresh in my memory since just went. So Puerto Plata is another. I don't know what you want to call them. They're maybe within the country. They're broken up into different sections. I think Samana is one of them. Puerto Plata is another, and there's Santo Domingo, and I think some others. I forgot, maybe about a dozen of those. It was brought out on the tour, and that is something we did. So of the four stops that we did, two of them we had excursions that we booked ahead of time. Now with Virgin, just so you know, if you allow me to book you a cruise on Virgin, they have an app that you can book your excursions through them. They call it Sure Things, kind of a play on word like a sure thing, Shore, Shore. a shore thing, excursions that you can do when you're on shore. And I was going through them, and this was one of the ones that kind of appealed to us. And I say us, it was me, Selena, and my dad. Um, but also, did our friends go on that one with us? Yeah, yeah, they did, didn't they? I'm thinking about it. There's five of us all together. Anyways, yeah, I believe, yeah, we did go on that one together. Yeah, of course they did. It took me a second to. I mean, there's a lot of memories going on that I'm sifting through. Anyway, so yeah, they were. So there was five of us, and we booked this ahead of time, and all the different excursions that they had, this one appealed to us. This wasn't necessarily a scenic tour. We did get to see some scenery, which was really nice, but it wasn't necessarily a scenic tour. Anyways, so when we got to Puerto Plata and got off the ship, actually before we even got off the ship, we had to meet at where they have some of their shows called the Red Room. And as we were checking in there, we had to be there like around 30 or 45 minutes before the excursion began. They gave us like a little ticket with a number on it, and we were all there in the Red Room. Well, there's different all different groups were in there with different numbers. So as they called your number, you went and you left. You got off the ship, and we got off the ship, and we got to walk down the pier. And as we're doing that, I'm looking out and I see to the left of us some nice, pretty, obviously the water, and there was trees, and it looks like a shopping area. Looked really nice, and straight ahead is where we're heading, more shopping area, and a nice, big, beautiful hill or mountain, whatever it is, very lush, and it looked beautiful. We go up there. There was some local dancers playing music. There was a sign there that welcomed you to the area, and there was a lot of shopping, which I've gone to places like Cozumel or Costa Maya, where you get off and immediately, boom, you're in this big shopping area for all the tourists and souvenirs, and they have that there. But they also had people like rounding up everyone for their excursions that they were doing. And there was a guy that you know had the number that we had. Um, I think we were 22. Doesn't matter. Anyways, whatever it was, we found him, went up there, and there was a bunch of other people there too. They had us line up against the wall just to kind of separate us from others, so that we weren't getting lost. And next thing you know, we're on a different tour that we're not supposed to be on, or something, or we've got someone that's not supposed to be with us. So we were all together, and the guy, he had a certain number that he was looking to get, because however many booked it. But he led us away from there. We followed him. We were kind of like goslings following the mother goose. We went all the way over to the bus, and it was warm out. And I had, been in Michigan for a while, and it's been cold here, so it was nice to get away and get into the warmer weather. Um, but I will say, even with that thought in mind, when we got on the bus and it was air conditioned, that was nice. It was air conditioned. They had curtains on the windows. Well, you could open the curtains to look outside, but it was nice to be able to have them closed too, to be able to kind of block out the sun a little bit and keep the inside of the bus cool. So that was nice. Got in there, sat down, was comfortable, just waiting to go. We were missing one person. He went to go back to look for him. I thought he was going to be gone for a long time. It wasn't. And so there was five of us in our initial group, and then there was another lady who was a travel agent that we met. Ended up kind of joining our group as well. Made it like six, I guess you could say, to a degree. And throughout the rest of the cruise, got to talk with her more. We uh, we were on the bus. He came back only a few minutes later. His name was Sandyman. He was our tour guide. I forgot who the bus driver's name was. He didn't speak any English, but he was a good driver nonetheless. Sandyman was our tour guide. I don't remember the company that did this, but it seems like whatever that company was did do a lot of tours, and I thought they did a really great job. He was very nice, very knowledgeable, threw in some jokes, spoke English, pretty well, um, and was a very good tour guide. I'll give him a shout out for that. Sandyman was a very good tour guide. We leave there, and I saw other, um, tours going on, buses. Some were open aired. I thought, okay, that is one way to go. That's not bad. But I have to admit, being in an air conditioned bus was pretty nice. So we go throughout town, and nothing's looking familiar because, again, I'm thinking, have I ever been to the Dominican Republic before? I think I have, but I'm not sure. Nothing was looking familiar. Again, it wasn't until later on that I learned, okay, it was Samana. We weren't in Puerto Plata. As we're going though, he's the tour guide is explaining things. He's even got like a book with some visuals on it. Um, I thought that was pretty cool, like as regards how the island is set up. The different, I don't know, you want to call them counties or states or whatever. Um, and then the people itself and the history of them, things like that. Dominican Republic actually is on the same island as Haiti. They share an island, but they don't. They're not combined. There's a divider. May even be a wall, but Haiti's on the west side of the island. Dominican Republic is on the east side of the island. He knew a lot about the history, a lot about the city and everything. I'm not going to go into a ton of the trivia and the details. I'll leave that up to you if you ever do go to see it, and he can share it himself or whoever the tour guide is. But I did find it fascinating. If you like history, if you like culture, that's definitely nice. But what we were doing wasn't necessarily a scenic tour. It wasn't necessarily a history or culture tour. That was just kind of included in it as we're going through. They were going to be having their own version of, I think, Carnival going on, like that weekend or something like that. So they had it. You could kind of see that set up in the streets as well. But this tour consisted of sampling local foods from local restaurants. And being that I love to eat, love food, that was kind of up my alley. Love culture, local things. Um, so this one appealed to us in that way. So the first stop that we had was at a restaurant that was called, what was it called? Skina, Skina, Skina. And we stopped the bus. It wasn't like we stopped the bus right in front of the restaurant. We stopped the bus. We were at like a main street in a corner. We got off the bus. He had like a little uh, flag or whatever that we could follow him. And we walked around the corner. Walked a couple blocks. It wasn't too far. It was not bad. We bypassed some police. We bypassed. I think it was like either a junior high or a high school, or kids were in school. Um, some other food areas, but then we get to where we were going as part of this tour, Skina, and we get there. It's an open air restaurant. It has a bar, some bathrooms, uh, and it was really nice. They had some fans going, and it was very comfortable. We're in the shade. Felt pretty cool. They had cats running around. They were pretty cute. um, and you had access. You could get something from the bar. Um, and the first thing that we tried was mofongo. And I want to say that I've tried it before, but I couldn't quite remember. But out of everything that I tried that day, that ended up being my favorite was mofongo. It was a good flavor to it. Everyone got like a couple of them on a plate. It wasn't like each place you were going, you were getting a big meal. You were sampling it, but when you added it all up, you had like a meal. So mofongo was the first one. We sat down. Um, us, my dad, our friends, the travel agent had a table of six there. I think you could, like I said, you could you had access to the bar if you wanted to buy a drink. Um, you could use the bathroom, whatever. We were there for a little bit. Now you're not there for forever. It seems like they since it's part of a tour, the restaurant knows you're coming, and they're gonna be prepared for it. And when we got there, we didn't wait too long for it to be served to us. So we were probably there. Roughly 20 minutes, maybe. Enjoying it. Nice restaurant. Like I said, it was in the shade. Fans were going. Someone there, other people were there eating lunch. It's not just for that tour. Obviously, it's open for business to other people. We were there, had a nice time, and then we walked back to the bus. So from there, we went somewhere else. I'm not exactly sure the direction we were going, but we went someplace else. And the next one again, we got stopped on a corner, got out, had to walk a little ways, and where we ended up walking to, we walked. This area was surrounded by beautiful, lush trees, and it was very garden-like. Uh, Beautiful surroundings to this restaurant. And this restaurant, it was called House of Maceo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I am. If I'm not, I apologize. Um, but in this place, now we were going to be sampling something else. There was there was this restaurant that they had. You could either sit inside or you could sit outside. Our group ended up sitting outside. In addition to my family, my friends, the travel agent. Now there was another couple that sat next to us. They were from Montana. Very nice couple. There was his second cruise and her first cruise, I think, if I remember correctly. And they were having a nice time. Got to see them periodically throughout the rest of the cruise. They sat with us, and we kind of expanded our group a little bit more. Here, we were trying their local rice and beans. And their plate that came with rice and beans not only was rice and beans, but there was also beets and chicken, got some protein in there. And this one did include a drink. So you could order whatever. I forgot what I ordered. I think I ordered a bottle of water. But there was, you could order a bottle of water, you could order a Coke, Sprite, you know. That ended up coming along with your sampling. They also had a nice little pond there too that had, I don't think they were koi fish. They had fish in there. Very pretty. And inside where there was the restaurant, I went to go use the bathroom, and it's also like an art house inside there too, where I don't think they just display. I think you could buy the art if you wanted to. They had a bathroom inside there. They had a bathroom on the outside too, which I think one of my friends used. Um, but it was a really nice, pleasant area to eat. And where we were sitting outside, we had this nice breeze coming through, and it was very, very nice, very relaxing. Enjoyed that, enjoyed the food. And then as we were leaving, we went through their gift shop, and on our way to the gift shop, they gave us like a sampling of chocolate, which was pretty nice. You got like a spoon, and they gave you like they dipped it. It was like melted, or maybe it hadn't been cooled yet, whatever it was. And yeah, you got to taste that. That was pretty good. I'm sure they sold it inside the gift shop if you wanted to buy some. I didn't buy any gifts, but I think a few other people did. And then from there, again, went on the bus and headed out to our third stop. Now, the third stop was we parked on the street, had to walk down a little ways, not too far. It was a little bit a tighter one-way street, so we had to watch ourselves as we were coming off the bus. And then we went in, and it looked like it was almost like an old house that maybe they turned into a restaurant. And it was called La Isabella, which I think was named after one of the queens. And from there, we ended up all sitting together at a big long table. And I mean, there might have been an extra couple that didn't get to, sat separately, but for the most part, everyone was at this big, long table. They had served us, oh boy, it's like a soup, sancucho, which had chicken in it, I think some vegetables. If I'm mispronouncing that, if any of you out there know what that is and I mispronounced it, I apologize. They served everyone that. Some people did get like drinks. They could, get alcoholic drinks. Again, I think I just stuck with a bottle of water, and that was nice. I really enjoyed in that one. They had like chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, and they had a live piano player, and piano's my favorite instrument. And I recognized some of the songs that they were playing too. Some of them were older, some of them were newer. But having that piano player there, I thought was kind of nice. And that one, the meal, it was only a sample, but it was a pretty hearty sample. I'm thinking, okay, between these three different stops, we're having basically a whole meal. And being that we got to eat together, we got to get to know more of the group itself. We met a couple other couples. One couple, they were from Texas, I think. Another couple was from Vegas, who we saw a couple times again throughout the cruise and talked with them. Very nice. Um, and yeah, we just got to enjoy that together. So three different stops to sample different foods. All of them was good. My favorite thing about that last one was the piano. My favorite thing about the second one was the atmosphere, just how gorgeous it was. And the first one was my favorite dish that I tried of all with the mofongo. So all three were very good. From there, we left again. Sampling wasn't over. We got to now go to, they have a local rum factory, the Macorix. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's Macorix rum. Maybe you've had it before, maybe you've heard of it. I don't know. I'm not a humongous alcohol drinker, so I don't all the nuances of like harder alcohol. I'm not super familiar with. If you are, awesome. I don't have that type of palate. I was thinking to myself, I would have to sample them together to see a difference or to taste a difference. If you just give me one at any random time, I couldn't tell you all the nuances of it. But if I sampled them, like this one tastes like this and this one tastes like that, and then maybe I can know a difference. I did get to do that a little bit on this. I'll get into that in a minute. Anyways, so we get there. It's not a humongous place, but decent amount of size. And I do remember seeing that was one of the shore excursions. You could get just a tour of the rum factory itself. That could be the entire excursion. I think it's a little longer than what we stayed there. But we got there, we parked the bus, we got out, we walked towards it. On the side of it, all kinds of, I don't want to say graffiti, but painting on the building of the rum and whatever. And we walked towards the entrance, and the tour guide, who had been guiding us this entire way, giving us nice, interesting facts and history, and making us laugh throughout this entire time, hands us over now to one of the local workers there, a young lady whose name is escaping me at the moment, and she was going to have us do this tour. It wasn't a humongous tour, but we were going to get to experience a little bit of it. We go in. It's a very dark room that we're walking through with barrels, rum barrels all over the place. And you can hear like a voice talking to you over, the PA system. I mean, you could hear her too a little bit. The voice is talking, as it's as you're going through, describing some things, and then we get to go around a corner. Again, it's all on the walls, on the ceilings, these barrels, and they had a display that had a few different uh, things in there. I don't know if they were barrels or I don't know what you want to call them that were that was in there, samplings of something. And she was talking. I won't lie, all of it just made me feel like I was about to go on a Disney ride, like a Pirates of the Caribbean Disney ride. That's what it made me feel like. Um, it was, yeah, I think it was like different barrels, and there's science to it. There's science to everything. Everything you make, everything, there's always a science to it. So there's a science to it. I don't know it. I'm not that huge into it, but I find it fascinating. Once we were done with that, we went into the other room, the next room, and that's where we got our samplings. They had a bunch of things on display there too. And from there, they gave us like 6 or 7 different rums to try. And here's where I could finally be like, okay, I tried this one, and now I'm trying this one, and to kind of notice a difference in taste. And there were some were a little stronger, some were a little sweeter. Um, I prefer more of I have a sweet palate, so I prefer more of the sweeter ones. Others didn't, and I say like 6 or 7 different rums. I know that may sound like a lot, but they're very tiny samplings of it. So you're not going there and you're getting drunk off of this or anything like that. You're just going in there and sampling them. And then they explained a little bit about each one of them. Try it out, and obviously uh, you could you could buy them. They want you to buy them, which some of them thought like, oh yeah, this actually does taste pretty good. Didn't buy any though, but I think some other people did. From there, it was very dark, and then you go outside, like, oh, my eyes. I think I had sunglasses. We went across the street, so to speak, and there was a gift shop over there, and that gift shop had more selection. I think we did get to sample another thing over there, and they also had some handmade sewn. I don't know if they were clothes or whatever they were. They had a bunch of other things in there. Some people did get some things, so that's good. So for them, anyways. So that was nice. And then from there, we all got back on the bus, and there was an option. Some people could stay, and we were going to continue on with a tour of the city area, or if not, the bus can take you back to the port and drop you off. We all decided to stay, and from there, we continued on with the tour. From there, the first thing that he had us do, now we're in town, so to speak, almost like in their city square, and we start walking, and he takes us to these two different establishments that are right next to each other. One of them is a cigar store, which is kind of big in that thing. I'm not a smoker, so I didn't feel the need to go in there at all. And then the other one was a jewelry place. The jewelry place, they had a little presentation showing you one of their stones that are famous there, which is blue, and it looks beautiful, um, very beautiful. And then another thing was amber, was big on there. Something I didn't know. If you're familiar with the movie Jurassic Park, apparently they filmed like the opening scene in Jurassic Park, where the diggers go and they find the amber with the mosquito fossilized inside, and that's where they get the DNA and create the dinosaurs. Spoiler alert if you've ever seen Jurassic Park, sorry. But they filmed that on that island apparently. I guess amber is like one of their big things there, along with that blue stone. They also had another little drink that we could sample, which was again pretty good. That one almost tasted like almost like a sangria. Forgot exactly how they explained it. One of the things that they had the way it was interesting. They sold you almost like the kit for it. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I think my friend got it, where you can add the ingredients and it'll do it for you. I may be butchering the way I'm explaining this, but it lasts you for like 20 years, as opposed to if you just bought like a bottle of rum, let's say, and it lasts you till it's gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. This one, it'll last you 20 years. You can make as much as you want or need. That was kind of cool. I think my friend bought that. I just don't remember all the details on it. Anyways, in this jewelry store, they had the workers there. One of the workers was giving the presentation, kind of showing it. And looked really nice. I do think some people bought it. Again, I didn't. But it was nice. It was cool enough in there. They had the fans going. They had the little samples of the drinks. So that was nice. We continued walking on from there. Some people had gotten jewelry. Some people had gotten cigars from the cigar store. I didn't even go in the cigar store. We walked on, and then the next thing we went down was this pink street, and I think it's kind of designed for breast cancer awareness, which I think they do that here in the States a lot. Pink is like breast care. I know there's like a breast cancer awareness month and pink, all that. So that I think is part of it. But there's a lot of opportunities for photos there, a lot of different things. So we walked down. There was not just our group, but other groups that were there as well. Took some pictures. They had things on the wall to take pictures with, or little other photo opportunities. There was some people there that had like a monkey or a bird. Now, if you try to get a picture with one of those things, they want you to pay for it, give them a tip or something. Just FYI, if you ever go down there. There was that, and I feel like at the end of it, we saw the sign for it. Paseo de Dona Blanca, I think it was called. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. So I feel like we went like the back way in and then came out the entrance. Uh, so that was kind of cool. And then we walked down a little ways, saw these like arrows pointing towards the umbrella street. And the umbrella street is exactly what it sounds like. It's a street with a ton of umbrellas. You look up and there's just all up. They got a ton of umbrellas up top, which is pretty unique, pretty cool. I do remember seeing a woman there dressed in local garb. She was dancing. You could take pictures with her, others. There was a bunch of different shops. One of the shops we went into was like a coffee slash chocolate place. And there, one of the workers there kind of gave a little presentation and explaining some of the science behind one of the things that they use or some of the things that they use. And they gave out free samples of this alcohol flavored coffee, which I cannot remember which one. Was it sherry? Was it, I don't, brandy? Maybe it was brandy. I don't remember what the alcohol of it was flavored. There's no alcohol in it. It's just the flavoring of it. And it was a hot chocolate, and it was so good and so creamy. I was tempted to buy that, but I was thinking about, I'm like, I don't drink hot chocolate a ton, even though I'm not a coffee drinker at all. If I'm going to drink a hot drink, it's going to be hot chocolate as opposed to coffee. But I don't even drink that enough to justify me to purchasing this, so I refrained from doing it. But it was a cool little place. If I ever went back and went to there, I would think about maybe doing it. Maybe. Anyway, so we were there. There were some other shops went into, looked around, came out, started walking back towards the city square, I guess you could say. And they had some historical things there, some historical statues and buildings. And as I mentioned, they were getting ready for like their version of Carnival. But apparently, the way that they kind of have things set up, where they have an area for adults to party, but then in other areas, they have stuff for kids to do, bouncy houses and games, things like that. I thought that was kind of nice. Let the kids have some fun too, and be involved in a way. The bus came back and picked us all up. Some people had bought souvenirs. Um, Got to take some pictures of some of the things around, which was nice. Got on the bus, took us back to the pier area. Didn't drop us off right at the cruise ship, but dropped us off kind of where that, when I mentioned we came out, I looked to the left, I saw shopping area. That's where they dropped us off. So we got to walk through there. It's a really nice area, um, that they have kind of set up with I don't want to call it grass huts necessarily, but that's kind of like the look of it in a way. Um, and some beautiful trees. They had this one big, humongous monkey or gorilla looking thing that it was made out of. I don't even know what it was made out of. Some kind of metal thing or something. I don't know. But they had a ton of shops. Went in and out of there. Was kind of looking at souvenir shopping. At one point, came across an area where they had live tropical birds. Thought that was really nice. And did all that. I kind of broke off on my own and to look for a shirt, which I eventually got this one, and failed to tell my family about it. Didn't meet up with them until much later. Like, where were you? Oh, sorry. That was I thought I may have mentioned that I was going to go look for a shirt. Uh yeah, and then from there we went back on the ship. Um, had a really nice time. Oh, and that area also too, along with the shops. I didn't go on it, but I saw that it was there. Like they had some kind of like lazy river that was going around that I don't know if you had to pay to use it or not, but they had it there. And I saw someone wet, so I'm guessing they must have gone to it. Um, and I remember when I was younger and didn't mind being in the water, lazy rivers were pretty cool to try or to use. So if that's something that you go and you want to go on a lazy river, yeah, go ahead and give it a shot. I guess go ahead and try it out. But nice place to visit. Very, uh, you go there, and I felt like, hey, I'm on vacation. I am in a tropical place, and I'm getting to see and taste things that I don't get to see and taste back home, and that's what I love, being able to see that that local flavor, that culture. Love being able to be a part of that. Glad I was able to do it. Glad my family and friends were able to join me as well. We had a nice time all together. If this is something that you would like to try and go see, whether to go visit there on its own or to be a part of a cruise that goes there, let me know. I'll be happy to help you with that. You can reach out to me again through email, j.paradise.travels@gmail.com. That's jay.paradise.travels@gmail.com. Or Instagram, Facebook, it's the same name, Jay's Paradise Travels, Jays, no apostrophe in that. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me through Facebook or Instagram, and I'll be happy to help you out. Um, and if you do, I think you'd have a great time like I did. I do appreciate listening to this podcast. Thank you so much. This also, like I said, includes Puerto Plata was the main thing, but also Samana. So I have, again, been to the Dominican Republic 2 times, and both were nice experiences. Beautiful place to visit. Nice, nice tropical weather to go be a part of. Definitely enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Hope you took something away from it and learned something. If you did, please like the video itself. Please subscribe to the channel and please share it with other people. As podcasters, we need all those things to keep our podcast going. And as regards myself, the business that I'm running, definitely want to be able to help you and as many other people as possible with their vacation plans. So please let me know and feel free to share it with others. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye bye.